years now. It's all that I do. Actually, it's not all that I do. I do both comedy and magic. So the parts of the show today that aren't funny, that's the magic, just so that you know. And I'm going to kick things off with one of my favorite tricks. This is a set of Chinese linking rings. I'm going to show you how you can tell if the magician is using an official set of linking rings. If it's the real thing, it will be a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 solid gold rings known as the Chinese linking rings. Now mine have been chrome-plated to protect the gold, but that is 24 karat in there, okay? Now if you look closely, you notice each one of the rings has a gap. There's an opening in the ring. Let me show this tape over here. So just hold it here and show you guys. So you see the opening?
VIP here.
Okay, so the opening is right here. See the opening? It's right here. That's the opening. All right.
Kiểm tra có vết nối không?
Link those together. Go ahead and link those together. We're clinking, but we're not linking. Sometimes I find it easier if I just let one line up and then let it drop on the way down, like this. So just like that, if you let it drop on the way down, it usually catches. We'll do 2 on one here. There we go. Yeah, not bad at all. Here, hold that for me. Now, if you want, you can take them apart. Here's how you do it. You've got to spin the bottom ring to demagnetize it, like this. Then you're going to knock it off the section of the top ring that is opposite of your hand, like in my case, right off the front, like that. Okay? So just give it a spin, and then right off the front. Yeah. Yeah, opposite of your hand. Yeah, see, here's your hand, so right off the front, opposite like that. That's my fault, I'm sorry. Here, hold that one instead. Hold that one. Yeah, see, bottom ring spin, top. We had them switch. So that's the bottom, and that's the top. You know, actually, those are identical. All right. So right up the front. Now, that doesn't work. They go together clockwise. So clockwise to link, counterclockwise to unlink. You know, so like how a clock goes. There are no clocks around here. There's no clocks. Okay. I tell you, I'll take these apart for you. I'll take these apart at the same time. Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And then thank you. Yeah. Oh, now they're all clocks. Now they're all clocks. Not what I had in mind, but it would make a nice belt for somebody. All right, here, put these in one hand. Okay. Now if you come over with the other hand like this and you pull them apart slowly, they seem to just melt apart. Give that a try. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's very good. All right, quit showing off. All right, thank you.
I can be a magician now.
Yeah, she's a magician. Next up, I would like to do a trick with a borrowed item. Does anybody have a $1 bill that I can borrow? A $1 bill? I'll give it back unharmed. Anybody have a 1? Somebody has one? Would you put a mark on that for me? Just go ahead and mark it. You're going to get a $100 back? Good. Okay, we've got a check mark. Now there's 2 ways that you can mark a bill when you're using a pen. We can put a check mark on it like we did today, or there's a more dramatic method that I prefer. I'm going to show you the more dramatic method. This is great if you're a golfer, because this is known as a hole-in-one. Get it? Now technically what I just did here is illegal, because this is government property. It's against the law to damage government property. But I'm going to fix it. I'm going to start by removing the pen, and then I'm going to take out the hole that is underneath my finger. Give me just a second here. I'll slide it out. Now whose bill? Who gave me this? Did you give me this bill? Can I do one more thing with it? Now do you guys ever mess with static electricity? You know what I'm talking about, right? You rub it on your head like that?
No.
It works like a balloon. You can make it stick to your hand. See? Now of course you can't let go. Do a trick here. This is something I came up with while I was working on a construction project. You know, these are such an asset because these nuts, they get stuck on the bolt, right? And so you can't get them off. But I figured out even when it won't turn, you can take them off using magic. magic. He uses just two simple props. He uses a cup and a ball. And here's how it works. You guys want to grab a seat so they can see behind you? Go ahead and grab a seat there. This is the cup and the ball trick. Uses just two props, a cup and a ball. Now here's what happens. The magician places the ball. I've got a holder for this. As a matter of fact, I've got one right here because I have to use both my hands to do magic. I'll bring one of these just in case. Try this out. You guys hear me better with this? There we go. A little more. There we go. Can you guys hear me a little better now? Yeah. All right. So the cup and the ball trick uses just two simple props, a cup and a ball. And if I could have you guys back up a little bit so there's nobody on the table, that would help me with the class. All right, so here we go. The cup and the ball trick is two simple props. The cup and the ball, and here's what happens. The magician places the ball in his hand, and a few seconds later, it reappears underneath the cup, just like this. I will demonstrate the principle for you. You see it does go to my hand, but it doesn't stay there for long. In a few seconds, it's back underneath the cup. I'll show you that again, in case you missed it. And you see I do place the ball in my hand, but it doesn't stay there for long. In a few seconds, it's back underneath the cup. And of course, you know how this works, right? It's because this cup has a hole in it. But then again, all cups have a hole in them. That's how they're made. You'll get that later, all right? But sometimes people think I'm not actually placing this in my hand. I really do place it in my hand, but to be very fair, this time I'm going to place it in my pocket. Now you see it really does go to my pocket, but it doesn't stay there for long. In a few seconds, it's going to come out of my pocket and reappear underneath the cup. Just like that. I'll show you that again. You see it does go to my pocket, but in a few seconds, it's back underneath the cup. Just, oh, all right, so either the ball is getting larger or the cup is getting smaller. I'm not sure which of those two is happening, but one of those two is happening. I think in this case, the ball is getting larger. It is getting larger. Sure enough. Actually, because there's an extra one. See, I don't really tell people this, but the extra one gets stuck up in the top because it's so big. Here, I'll show you. I'll try to knock it out. You see, that's the extra one right there. Now that works because the inside of the cup is deeper than the outside of the cup. With me? All right, good. I'm glad you figured that. All right, next up, I'm going to do a trick with another ball that is very special, but this one I found on the golf course. Now, what makes this golf ball unique is not the fact that it's yellow, but the fact that it does something no other golf ball has ever done. It does something we call mitosis. Now, mitosis is where a cell splits and divides. Hey, can I have you guys back up just a little bit so we can touch the table? Thanks. Now, mitosis is where a cell will split and divide. You guys know what I'm talking about? When it duplicates itself, that's called mitosis. And this golf ball does the exact same thing. Every time I give it a little shake, it will do that. Watch what I mean here. Give it a shake like that, and it splits and divides into two. Isn't that weird? I'll do that again for you. You missed it. So we'll set that one down. Give it a little shake. It splits and divides into two. Do this one more time. Now see, the one on the top is fake, but this one is real. This one's real, but the one on top is fake. You can tell because when I give it a squeeze, it disappears. Just like that. It's gone. All right. Next up, I'm going to show you guys my favorite rope trick. Would you like to see that? Yeah. So this rope trick uses two ropes, a white and a red rope. And what I did just to make things a little more interesting is I put a knot inside the white rope. Now this is known as the candy cane rope trick because you put these two together and then you twirl them together, something like a candy cane. Now you're supposed to line it up first and then twirl them. I can tell you it makes a lousy candy cane, but it makes a pretty good trick. Watch what happens to the knot that's on my white rope. It jumps over to the red rope. Isn't that neat? Now does everybody know what kind of a knot this is called? This is called a slip knot. The reason they call this a slip knot is because you can slip it off. I'll demonstrate for you here. Watch this. Give it a little pull. And there's the knot right there. In fact, I can slip it right back on just as quick. It's back on the rope. If I do this long enough, you'll start to think that the white is embedded in the rope. And in this case it is. It's actually embedded in the rope, just like that. Now that's a trick I do where the ropes are different colors, but I have one where the ropes are the same color. going to show you that one. So in this case, all the ropes are red, but they're different lengths. So you see I've got one that's a medium length, I've got one that is very long, and I've got one that is very short. As a matter of fact, it is so short, it probably got stuck in the bottom of this bag. So let me turn the bag inside out so that we can get to it. No, it's not in that bag, okay. You know, let me check the bag with the slots, because I might have stuck it in the bag. Let me check the bag with the stripes, because I might put it inside that bag. You know, I've got 8 of these to go through, maybe here just a minute. Sorry, I don't know what bag I put it in. I thought I stuck it in like a blue one, but I don't remember. Oh, wait, this has got to sit there. Let's see if it might be in here. Ah, there we go. Which I need all 3. Alright, so here we have short, medium, and long. And the idea is to make these all the same length. I could just take scissors and cut there, but that's not very magical. So what I'm going to do is create the illusion of them being the same length. See, if they were the same length, they would not line up not just at the top, but at the bottom as well. So what I do is I take the bottom ends, I line them up like the top ends, and that creates the illusion of them being the same length. Now the reason I say this is an illusion is because if you look closely, you can tell I stuck that little short one. You remember the one that was stuck in the bag? The short one right there. I still have the medium length one next to that, and I still have the long one. So it's just an illusion, but it's a pretty effective illusion because they look like they're the same length, and clearly they're not even close because there's the tiny short one, there's the extra long one, and there's the medium length one. Obviously those are all 3 different lengths. Thank you. Alright, so next up I'm going to do some card tricks, but I have to warn everybody, all of my card tricks look terribly wrong. Please don't feel sorry for me, it's part of my act. Something funny to make you laugh. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Right back there, ma'am. Would you help me out? When you think of a deck of cards, what's the first card that comes to your mind? 5? Yeah, my number 1 answer is Ace of Spades. But because you said 5, I'm going to change the Ace of Spades to 5. Now watch how this works. The Ace of Spades is the top card, right on top of the deck. But I'm going to change it without even opening the box. I'll close up the box, I'll put the entire deck back in the case, so there's no way I can get in there. Yet I'm still going to change that ace to a 5. Watch. Now when we look again, the top card would... wait a second, did somebody pick up a deck of... no? You know, I lose more decks of cards doing that trick. I bring a backup deck just in case, so we'll use the backup deck here. That's why I always have a backup deck. That's a lousy trick anyway, so we'll do a much better trick. And here's how it works. I flip through the cards, and whenever you guys want, you just say stop. And stop it on a card. Okay, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, that's my fault. I went through all the cards. Go ahead, say it again. 8 of hearts, you want that one or a different one? Different. Different one? All right, we'll do a different one then. Just say stop whenever you want. Go ahead. Didn't we just pick a card? We had like an 8 of hearts, right? I know we just picked it. Yeah, you know what? I got these at the dollar store, but I really thought I would get more mileage out of them than just half of a trick, but I guess not. I use more decks of cards than these sort of tricks. I have one more backup deck. This is my last backup deck, so hopefully this one will work. Alright, this is a trick. It can't go wrong because I made up this trick. Normally everybody else gets to pick a card, but this is a trick where I get to pick a card. Alright? I already know what my card is because I put it on top earlier. Everybody see that? It's the Jack of Clubs. Now the reason I chose the Jack of Clubs to be the top card is because I can transform that top card into a restaurant right before your very eyes. Would you like to see that? Yeah. All right, here comes the restaurant transformation. This restaurant is called Jack in the Box. Ha! Never eaten there? It's a restaurant. Wow, tough crowd. All right. Probably wasn't worth stopping for, but I thought it was funny. Now we'll do a real trick. You guys say stop whenever you want. Alright, let's look here. We stopped on a, looks like the 5 of diamonds. Now, I already know what your card is, so I'm not going to go looking for it, but I am going to try to move it. Even though you selected a card near the middle of the deck, I'm going to make it jump to the top. So your 5 of diamonds goes in the middle, and just like that, it reappears on the top. And there is your, well, no, that was, sorry, I must have got these mixed up. This will probably be your card. Okay, yeah, there's your card. We found this, so needs a little work, but that was a good trick. Would you guys like to learn how to do a magic trick? Would you guys like to go behind the scenes? All right, let's teach you a trick. This is an easy trick to make. All you need is a poster board and a marker, okay? So you get yourself a marker, And you need a stencil so you can trace a circle. This circle needs to be nice and round, okay? And then once you've done that, you just put it on the poster board, you're ready to start. So here's how it goes. You tell your friends you're playing dominoes, you got down your last 2 dominoes, and you had a 1 and you had a 4, but you needed a 3 and a 6 to win the game. So you do some magic, and you change that 1 and a 4 to a 3 and a 6, which everybody knows is better than a 1 and a 4, right? Ready to see how it works?
Yeah.
You draw 2 spots on this side and 5 on this side, okay? And everything else is just how you hold it. So when you first come out, you're holding it like this. Nobody knows there's a spot under your hand. Same thing here. We've never seen a domino like that, but we've all seen a 4, haven't we? So they assume that this is a 4. They don't know there's something underneath your hand. Now, when you come back around the next time, you're carving up this blank space here. This is the part of the trick that I call reverse psychology, because now they're going to realize that you were carving up a spot a few minutes ago, okay? So now they're going to think you're carving a spot that you're not. What that means is when you get over here to this side with the 5 spots, they're going to think it's 6 because they'll think there's 1 underneath their hand. It's a very effective illusion, by the way. When you get to this side with the 2, they're going to think it's 3 because they'll think there's 1 underneath their hand. You see what I'm saying? The bottom line is just every time you go to check, it's just going to look like you got more spots than what you started with. Yeah, that's a good trick. Try that out. So, this next thing I'm going to show you, this is an example of why I don't shop at the thrift stores anymore. It's okay to buy some things used, but there's a couple things in life you don't want to buy used. One is a toothbrush, I'll get to that later. The other is a coloring book. Now can you guess why? It's because when you look inside, you find out it's already been colored. Now I found out that this one is a magic coloring book because you can shake out the colors. Look at the same picture, but this one is about the colors. Really great feature that I like. Now there is one drawback to the system that I don't like, and that is if you shake it for too long, you'll accidentally get rid of all of the colors, including the black paint, and then you've got nothing left but white paint. So you don't want to shake it for too long. Keep that in mind if you run across one of those. Now this next thing you're going to see is a very special cube. This is called a die. If there's more than one, it's dice. But if there's only one, it's a die, like something you color your hair with. I don't know who came up with that, but I think it's silly, so I just call it a cube. All right, would you like to see the cube disappear? All right, here it goes. Yeah, thank you. That was just a joke. I have found that my audience is more impressed if I make it disappear from the box. So I'm going to place it in the box, and then we'll make it disappear. The audience is much more impressed if you do it that way. I'll even give you one last look at it before it leaves the universe. Looks like we have the number 5 showing. Now when I snap my fingers, it's going to disappear just like that. You can see now sometimes people want to see behind this door. Yeah, it's always good to check behind both doors. So I'll show you behind that door as well. You can see there's nothing there. You know, I just realized this is the type of a prop that you shouldn't hold close to the microphone. Because you can when it's close to the microphone, you can hear the cube sliding back and forth. So here's the deal. If you want to show these doors empty, you slide it behind this set of doors over here, and then you can show these empty, right? Now if you want to show these empty, you slide it back behind the original set of doors like this, and you can show this set empty. Now if you wanted to show all of the doors empty at the same time, you'd have to do something like I did earlier. You remember when I put it underneath the table? Now if you did that, then you could show all the doors, because it would be here, it would be down here underneath the table. Alright. Well, this next thing you're going to see is a challenge. My friend challenged me to do this. He said, hey Rick, I know that you can solve the Rubik's Cube. What if you could solve it fast enough that it would qualify as a trick? And I'm like, you know, that's a good idea. So I brought a timer. Actually, it's a clock, but it has a second hand. So we're going to use this, and we'll see how quickly I can do the cube. I'm actually going to do 2 cubes. So I brought a standard Rubik's Cube, and I brought my competition cube. Now, competition cube turns easier, so you can turn it faster, and it's also larger, so it's easier to see from stage. See how it's bigger? And I'd like everybody to notice that this bag is empty. Does everybody see that? The reason I point that out is because there's no other cube in here. This mixed up cube that I'm placing in the bag right now is the very same cube that I'm going to take out in a few seconds. And if I've done it right, it should be solved. So I'm going to solve that one without touching it. I'm going to solve this one by hand right in front of you. All right? And when the second hand gets back around to the 12, I will kick this off. I'm going to mix this up a little bit more while we're waiting. And would you help me out when you're ready for me to start? You just say go and I will go. There we are. Okay, so that was under a second. I was looking at the clock, that was less than a second. I'm sure that doesn't count as an official record, but that was less than a second. Oh, wait, hold on, I've got one more cube. I've got this one inside here. And sure enough, that one is solved as well. So that was 2 in under a second. Now here is the part of the trick where I always get completely mixed up. See, at the end of every show, you have to put the cubes back in their original container. You know what I'm talking about? Now this one, it's easy, because this one came with a clear container. Let me show you what I mean. So when I put this one back in the container, I know I've got it right, because it's real easy to tell that it's in the correct container. But where I go wrong is with this one here, I always put it in the wrong container. I try to put it inside this bag that's meant for the clock. Then I try to put the clock inside this box that's meant for the cube, and I say, oh, this is all wrong. I've got to come up with a system so I don't get these mixed up. So here's my system. I labeled this with the word clock, and I labeled this with the word cube. Now I know this seems like a cheesy system, but it's actually a good system. I'll show you why. Because you'll see, I really do place the clock inside the bag that is labeled clock. I take out the cube that shouldn't have been there, and I do place it inside the box that is labeled cube. But I'll bet you anything, when I get home tonight, I'm going to go look for that clock that's supposed to be in here, and I'll find nothing inside there but a cube. Wait, it gets worse. I go to find the cube that's supposed to be in this box, and I find nothing inside here but a clock. This happens to me every night. You see how I'm confused? All right. Well, next up, I'm going to show you guys something kind of fun. This is a trick that I was experimenting with this piece of cloth, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to do this trick here. So we're going to grab this piece of cloth, show you what I mean. So we're going to change the color. So it starts off red. We're going to change it to another color. Name the color for me. Different color. Blue? We can do blue. Look, it blew away. You should get that later. It doesn't actually blow out. It's a water-based color. If you've ever worked with watercolors, you already know that all you have to do is squeeze out all the water. That squeezes out the color. It gets rid of the color. It turns it clear. That's what you can see in the hand behind it. Now it's clear on both sides. If you're wondering, today, though, there's enough humidity in there. If I just rub my hands together, it brings the color back and makes it look like it's reappeared. Now, every time I do that trick, people ask me, Rick, what do you do to make things disappear? I'm going to show you. So let's say you want to make a thimble disappear. Here's how it works. You take this off the end of your finger, and you place it in your pocket or underneath the table, okay? But you've got to do it fast enough that nobody notices. So when you take this off and you put it underneath the table, you need to be quick enough that nobody sees that. Like that was too slow. Because you just saw me put it under the table. So let me show you what it looked like at regular speed. I'll bring the thimble back. We'll do this again. Here's what it looks like at regular speed. You can see that it, hold on, that went up my sleeve. Yeah. Technically that was down my sleeve. Let me show you up the sleeve. It's the same thing in a different direction. Watch. This will be up. See the difference? There we go. See how it works? If you want, you can take this home, study it on your own time, and if you figure it out, try not to lose it, but hard to find and white. Next up, I thought it would be fun to do a trick that I have never done before. But just before I get to that, I have to tell everybody this is not a trick. This is a complaint. See, I stopped at a convenience store on the way over, and I ordered a soda, but they forgot to give me a straw. Now, for most people, that's not a big deal, but I really wanted a straw. And I will admit, I was disappointed until I looked in the bag and realized they had given me a free brownie. Look, it's a brownie. Yeah, thank you, yeah. Oh, no, wait, hold on, there is a straw in the bottom. I didn't see it's in the bottom of the bag, so there was a straw. I just didn't see it, that's my fault. Next up, I'm going to do a trick that I have never done before. Would you guys like to see a trick I've ever done before? Yeah! So here we go. I bought this trick earlier this morning, and I thought I would have a chance to rehearse it, but I haven't even had a chance to read the instructions. But I thought it'd be fun if we learned it together. You guys okay with that? So here we go. This is how it works. We've got 4 props. We've got this silk tube, and then the silk is inside it, and then there's 2 other silks. Matter of fact, would you take those 2 out? Go ahead and take those out. Yeah. Reach in there and grab those. All right. So there's red and green. Those with the yellow. Now when you do this trick, oh, did you not see this? Did you not see it at the bottom? This was in the bottom. You probably didn't see that, did you? It was in the bottom of the bag. They put it into the magic store. See, when I worked at the magic store, we used to do this to other magicians. When you see a magician come in, you put one of these in the bottom of his bag. It's this running joke that we have with other magicians. It's kind of like a gag that we do for a couple years. I know. Now when I worked at the magic store, I would really put like 1 or 2 of these in the bag. This guy, he put in 5, 6, so he put in 8. Okay, that's fine. He's got a good sense of humor. So, actually, I'll get the rest of those at home. Let me put these aside here. I apologize for the interruption. It's this running gag that we have with other magicians, and it's funny if you're a magician. So it's funny if you're a magician, but if you're not a magician, it just seems kind of silly. All right, so here's how this works. Got the yellow one in the tube. Now the instructions say you take the red one, which is right here, you're going to place that on the right-hand side. Now here's the thing, I don't know if they mean my right or your right. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we put this in here, I'm not even sure if this is the correct side, but we're going to guess that this should be. Now the green one goes on the opposite side, because I can tell from the picture. So we take the green one, we place it over here. Now the instructions say that when you're doing the trick, you say, oh, you know what? Look at this, I skipped the whole paragraph. So we're going to need to start over, I'm sorry. It says you're supposed to tie all 3 silks together, end to end, like one long piece, before you place them in the tube. And I forgot to do that, so we're going to need to start over so I can tie them into knots. And we can already get knots. Okay? That's so weird, but I guess something happens inside the tube that makes that work, and this is why they call it a self-working trick. You just show up and they're in knots. Oh, good. I'm going to keep that one. It'll be a great addition to the show. All right, very nice. Next up, I'm going to show you guys something. It's a little something I've been working on here, and this trick. This is a trick I do. I used to have a real rabbit, but rabbits don't like traveling in parks on Saturdays, especially from one show to another. So I gave the rabbit a recruit. We put him out in the country. So now, so this, even though he's a fake rabbit, he does some great tricks. I'll show you what I mean here. So let me have you guys back up just a little bit here. I'm going to show you how this trick works. So we take the rabbit, we place him in his home. I'm going to cover him up with a silk and he will disappear. Watch this. He's going to disappear on 3. 1, 2, 3. Look at that, he has disappeared. Now I will make him reappear, just like that, he reappears. Now sometimes people want to see behind the silk, want to do this trick, and that's not asking too much, I can accommodate that. We'll place him in his home, I will cover him up, and on 3, 1, 2, 3, you can see there's nothing behind the silk. Now I will make him reappear, and just like that, he has reappeared. Look at that. Yeah? Now sometimes people want to see behind the silk and behind the door. Now that is asking a lot, but I can accommodate that. So we'll place him in the door here. We're going to cover him up, and on 3, 1, 2, 3, nothing behind the silk, and as you can see, nothing behind the door. Sometimes people want to see here, which I didn't put it there, but it's good to check. I already showed you this one. I showed you behind the silk, I showed you behind the door, and I showed you this one too. All right, now we're going to make him reappear. On 3, 1, 2, 3, and just like that, he reappeared. Wait, he's over. Oh, you know what? They didn't tell me what I'm supposed to do when he's not behind either door. Hold on a second. Let me get over here so I can take him to the front. See, this door gave me trouble earlier, and even though I read the instructions, I couldn't get it to... The what? Is it... Oh, back here? Oh, it's right there. Okay, thank you. Good. I'm glad we found him because I will need him for the next show. All right. Next up, I'm going to show you guys a very patriotic trick that I've been working on. Would you like to see that? This is the trick with the 3 silks. Red, white, and blue. Now can you guess what I'm going to make? A flag. Right, absolutely. Now This is known as the magician's blendo bag. Okay? Here's how it works. Whatever is in the blendo bag is blended with what you're using. So you want to keep this empty. Very important that this stays empty during the trick because anything that's in there gets blended with whatever you're using. All right, so we're going to start off by making a flag. You dump in red, white, and blue. Now, when I did this trick at home, it worked really well. I was very proud of the results. I had a nice looking flag made. Okay, so this is. Oh, thank you. Sorry. Okay, this is like the second time I've done this trick, so that's supposed to be going out. So I'm going to do this again. The flag is. Okay, there we go. That's not ready. Hold on. This stars. Yeah, see the blue and the red got mixed up. I must have pulled it out upside down. Sorry for this. Give me just a second. We'll pull it out the other way, see if that works. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, that's what I was shooting for. That's what we wanted. Very nice. Good. That's going to be a rhythm. I will keep that. All right. Next up, I'm going to give you guys something very unique. This trick that you're about to see came about because my car was having a small mechanical problem. Let me explain what I mean. So my turn signal stopped working, and when your turn signal stops working, you assume that the light bulb is burned out, right? But that's not going to happen in my case. In my case, the entire turn signal assembly had fallen off onto the driveway. As a matter of fact, I found it when I got home because it was still blinking. It was on the driveway, it was still blinking. I said, you know, I'm going to give this to my mechanic. He'll know what to do with this. Then I got to playing around with it. It's actually kind of fun. You can do tricks with it like this. Now see, that works because the light won't go through a solid object, but it will go through a hollow object. Yeah? You can smell something burning? It's sort of like a... That's okay, I need to get that. All right, there's just an illusion. Now, normally we don't hand these out because they're kind of warm, but today I'm going to make an exception. We're actually going to hand one out. Watch this. You give it a few seconds to cool off, and you're actually perfectly safe. I'll show you that again. We'll use two. Just give it a few seconds to cool off, just like that. They're very safe. Now, these are great props if you're working around kids like I do, because sometimes the kids will tear off a piece, but these heal themselves. It's a really nice feature that I like. All right, so for my final trick, we're going to do something very special with these. And can I have a volunteer? Would you be willing to help me? Yeah, one on each side. So you stand on that side and you over here. I'm going to show you how these work. So what I want you to do is place one of these in your hand, and you're going to hold it really tight like this so that it can't get in there. Can you do that for me? So I want you to hold it real tight just like mine. Okay? Got it? You're doing good. Now put your hand next to mine. Watch this. Now did you feel that? Did you feel it? You did? Ah, open your hand. You see what I mean? See how that works? Yeah, it's a little surprising. I know. Let me explain how that happens. See, the people don't realize that two of these will squish as small as one. Look, as a matter of fact, if I take both of these and I squeeze them together, physically in terms of size, these two are smaller than one. So you can give both of these to a spectator, and they don't realize that they're getting two. Matter of fact, would you hold both of those real tight? See, when you hold it tight, it feels like one, right? You see what I'm saying? So when you do this, open your hand, and oh, that's so weird. It is free. Yeah, that's so weird. You know why that happens? Because these two, when they get rubbed together, it builds up static cling. And that static cling draws this one out of my hand, or even out of my pocket. Look, even if I place it in my pocket, it still jumps out and it joins these other two that are over here. I'll show you that again in case you missed it. So if I take these two here, and I poke them into my fist, the one from my pocket jumps out and it joins both of them, and that's why all three men look at the cans. Did I do that part too fast? I did do that too fast. That was my fault, though. That's all the coffee I drank. We'll slow it down. All right, here it is in slow motion. So there's one. You can see it really does go into my fist. Right. Here's two. It also goes into my fist, but it doesn't stay there because in a few seconds it comes out of my fist and it goes into my pocket. So they're actually down here. You're still looking confused. I'm gonna tell you what. We'll do this in super slow motion. I brought the super slow motion sponge ball with me today. Okay. So this is what happens in super slow motion. You see me poke it into my fist, right? But then here's the secret move in slow motion. Do you see the secret move? Huh? All right. What hand do you think has the sponge ball? This one? Oh, that's the sponge rabbit. That was a good guess. I appreciate you guessing. Thank you for the guess. All right. Now this is so confusing. We just need to get rid of these. Matter of fact, let me throw these underneath the table and we'll just be done with this. It's a silly trick anyway, so I'm not sure where this was headed to. Oh, is there an extra? Oh, there. Okay, so there is an extra. There's a. Oh, there's a couple extras. Okay. I thought there was just like three. Well, no, there's a bunch. Okay, so, wow. You know, this is really. Well, you know, I could probably melt this for about 5 minutes, but I think we'll stop right there. I think I'll do one more. We'll do this one, and then we'll do the jumbo size. There we go. It's an extra large size. That's why they make great souvenirs, because they never run out. So I'm going to let you keep this one as a souvenir, and then take mine home. There you go. Very nice. Well, thank you guys for joining me.